Right, listen you boys. I've had just about enough of all this messing around, going out there, bringing body parts back. God, you're bringing our name, our good name into disrepute. What are you playing at? You, stop going out there by machete without my permission. Get your own weapons. And you, what if I told you about playing near the lake? You know you can't swim. I've got your mother on me all the time. Me, ka, me. Oh, God. Oh, drive me mad. Hey, folks. Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. Now, be honest. What's the scariest thing that you can see right now? How are you all? Hope you're doing very, very well. Yes, I fancied coming back out into the sunny climate of the conservatory for the first time in quite some while, I'll be honest. And it could well be a mistake because I kind of wanted to be able to show you in more detail without shadows and without light and my rather naff camera gear to show you something in a bit more detail. And of course, I've chosen what's turned out to be the sunniest day of the year so far. The sun is there and it's whamming straight through the windows there, which is the whole point of a conservatory, of course. Wouldn't you agree? Oh yes, folks. So we have the young Jason here, you guys have seen him before, and we have an older Jason here, with the ubiquitous axe slash in the head and the big gash there, and that little lonely eye, and of course in there we have a little bit of muslin, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, let's not be getting condemned for putting religious groups into serial killers' masks. But yeah, there you go, that's the famous gold mask. Let's move him out of the way because what we want to show you today is this. From Neca Toys. Yes, it's one of those glorious, multi-articulated, almost living but in miniature serial killer dolls from Neca. Neca Real Toys. And this is from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Now, I've said many times before that I am not the biggest fan of Friday the 13th. I do love Jason Vorhees, but like Halloween, the sequels have just gone on playing the same old thing and been just the Lord of Diminishing Returns crapite. Now, whereas Halloween never really was supposed to be that gory, Friday the 13th made its name on cutting edge gore effects by the great Tom Savini. Yes, Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon got an arrow through his throat. Gouts of blood. Everyone was writing to Tom Savini saying at the time, like, did you really kill that kid? That's true. Did you really kill that kid? You know, because they just thought, oh, that's so realistic. Of course, Tom Savini made his name with splatter movies, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Friday the 13th, Rosemary's Killer, Maniac, of course. And he returned after Friday the 13th Part 1, where it's not even Jason doing any killings, but you do see that guy at the end of the movie for the big shock, twist finale. But it's Pamela Voorhees, his mummy, who's doing all the killings. And then you got the sackcloth version of Jason in Friday the 13th Part 2, which I love, and I think I've shown you the mask for that. And I love that movie. I think that's a great one. The first three movies I actually really enjoy in the Friday the 13th saga. Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D. Richard Brooker plays Jason in the ubiquitous green work shirt and all that. And he gets the hockey mask off Shelley. Fat, curly-headed Shelley. Frat boy nerd. Knobshine. Gets the mask, gets the harpoon, does lots of wicked mayhem. I love him in that. I think he's a genuine force of nature in that one. And although he runs in Part 2 in the flashback scenes, which I think is great with the sackcloth. It's got a nightmarish sequence, that, to be honest. From Part 3 onwards, he doesn't run, does he? But he's still quicker than Michael Myers. Michael Myers doesn't have to run, doesn't have to walk quick. He's going to get you regardless. He's the bogeyman. But Jason, even though he doesn't run, he does walk very quickly, and he's always played by a big brute, a huge guy, and I do find him a really intimidating, villain. He definitely is scary. Just the way he stalks, I think he smashes through doors, and he's big. He's a monster, without a doubt. And in this version, part 4, the final chapter, which we all know it most certainly wasn't. If you're making a movie in a horror franchise, don't ever call it final or, so the end. No, it's not gonna happen. What's coming out next year? Halloween Ends. Place your bets, folks. It won't be the end of Michael Myers. We all know that. But Tom Savini returned for this movie, and although it's not a great movie at all, some of the kills are nice and inventive, and they are gorier than what you would normally get in a Friday the 13th movie. Why? Because even though they film for unrated and they have loads of superbly gory effects, they know the MPAA never allows it to go through. Apart from the first movie, second a little bit, but from that point onwards, all the kills were all cut down, and they shot them and they made them knowing they were going to lose a good swathe of footage. So poor old Tom Savini, no stranger to censorship controversies, knew damn well his effects by and large weren't going to get through. That said, there are still some great creative kills in this movie, and this is the one with Corey Feldman, who at the big climax shaves his head. He's into horror makeup and masks and horror movies, so he thinks that he's part of, is he Tommy Jarvis, the Jarvis family? He tries to, when his sister's about to be killed. Is it his sister? I don't know. The girl at the end. And Jason, remember. And Jason turns around and starts walking towards this diminutive little pint-sized annoyance with a machete in his hand, and falls into the trap, as these killers are so stupid and do all the time. And then he gets his mask hacked off his face to reveal his hideous Tom Savini crafted countenance beneath. And then he gets the machete brilliantly in the side of his head by the temple. Blood dribbles down, and it is really great. It's what makes this film. It seals the deal on this one being well worthy of watching. Savini's effects, chunk in the side of his head, and then it goes, and he falls down, hits the floor, and then slides down the machete, and his gob just goes, and at the end you're like, ooh, that was nice, that was worth it. So, even though most of those gore effects were trimmed a lot, this one is still worthy of your praise when you watch it, because of Savini's creative endeavours to bring slaughter to a whole new dimension. So, back to the case in point. Neca's toy. Neca's one of these ultimate ones where I'm not going to have to move you out the way, I'm afraid. So I can show the good folks here what we have in store. By the way, I'm playing Harry Manfredidi's score for Friday the 13th Part 3. The reason why I like this one is because of this jazzed up main theme, this disco version. There's a great photo of the figure. The figure's in there, in this glorious window box thing. Now, I'm going to get him out, don't worry. What do you get with this? Let's have a little look. It says here somewhere. Includes machete, knife, axe, corkscrew, because you kill someone with a corkscrew, tombstone, hacksaw, cleaver, and 2 interchangeable heads and masks. It's got everything in here, folks. Woo! Now these figures are great. I've got quite a lot of them. My favourites being certainly the Freddy Krueger figure is awesome, and the Ultimate Halloween 2 Michael Myers. I love that figure. I've shown you that one. And you got Leatherface as well. Now let's try to get this young man out. This pesky brute who really doesn't know when to stop stalking and slashing. As you can see, there he is. That's in all his glory. Yes. Weaponry, another hand. I don't know about you guys, but I never do mess around with the other hand. I might change the heads, but I never change the hands. I just never got around to it. Pamela Voorhees' gravestone. Mummy. Like Norman Bates, this guy's got quite severe mummy issues. But look at that, the weaponry. Beautiful. I mean, Neca goes to town on all the extras with these things, and they are wonderful. But who amongst you who collects these really do... Well, this week I'm going to put the surgical bone saw in his hand. Oh, now, another week I'm going to put the knife in his hand. Now I'm going to put the double-headed axe. You don't do it, do you? Maybe you do. If you do, comment below. Let me know. Whenever you go camping, if you hear that noise and you hear a werewolf howling, owls hooting, or a chainsaw revving, you've picked the wrong campsite. Let's see if we can get this guy out. Ooh. So stand by for lots of crinkly plastic and me going, bloody hell, it's stuck, it won't come out. All that kind of stuff. Come on, Jason. Oh my. We've done it. We've done it, folks. It's Big Jace. Look. Doesn't count the calories, does Jace. He's not too worried about his aesthetic physique. Now, these guys have lots of articulation, but when you get them out of the box, they're kind of stiff and rigid, and and you're terrified of bending arms in case they snap off in your hand. Oh, yeah, let's go on the back there. I mean, it's very authentic. It is, true to how he looks in the movie. Oh God, you see the right forearm doesn't want to bend. And you can go, whee! That'd be quite terrifying, wouldn't it? If he was coming after you and he suddenly went, woohoo! Like that and did a big Van Damme. Yeah. Folks, a husky has now entered the room. And may actually want to go out to do some kind of business. 1 second. These cameo appearances. You going out? Come here. Go on. Come on. And unbelievably, I opened the back door and it's gone back through that way. Like all the women in my life, they always do the exact opposite of what you want. I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer so you can have a little look at this. Now, paintwork is great. The detail on him is terrific. The skin colour, the mask. I know I've got the gold mask, the yellow tarnished mask, which you see in what version? What instalment do you get the gold one in? Is it Jason Takes Manhattan? I can't remember. But he's got the big axe crevice in his cranium. Yeah. Which of course is from part 3, 3D. Which I do like, as I said before, I do like that version. He's got, you can see the jaw. Now, we have an interchangeable head. Don't we just? Which comes with its own mask as well. Look at that. Yay. As you can see there, you've got the big cleft there in it. Now this one, yes, that's right. It has the big gash in the side where, can you see? I don't know if I time these things well, don't I? You can see the big machete swing in the side of his head there. Ouch, Amundo, I think you'll agree. Crunch, arr, arr. And that's a great bit of detailed woundage there. I'm trying to get some kind of focus on that, but with this inferior camera gear and this infernal sunlight, you're probably not getting much but my fingernails. So, but take it from me, that looks great. So, I'm just going to look at these masks. Are they both the same? No, they're not actually. There's a bit, one's got a slightly more stainage on it. I don't know if you can even tell, but one's slightly more bloody than the other one. But yeah, so you can put whichever one you want on, whichever head you take your fancy to. But they are. It is great, isn't it? Do you not find in the movies that when he's unmasked, he's nowhere near as frightening as he is when he's got the mask on? I mean, just with the hockey mask and that coming at you, lumbering, that's more frightening than some kind of prosthetic. Even though that's one of the better looks that he has, I would say. I like the Carl Fullerton look from when he finally gets unmasked in part 2, when he wears the sackcloth and he comes in through the window, and he's got one eye halfway down here, which of course mimics what we see from the Tom Savini effect from the first movie, where he comes out the lake, and you know, and that poor child drowned. They were making love. Well, the first fly of 2021 has just made a little guest appearance there. I don't know if you saw it. It entered. It landed on Jason's mask. It's got the fight of its life, and flapped its way out. So, what do we have as well? We have the Pamela Voorhees tombstone, and that's pretty good. That's quite good. I like that. 1930 to 1979. What was it? Betsy Brantley, I think, played her. That's nice. That's a nice little piece to add in there. You've got the extra hand. I'm not sure if I'm going to get all this gear out. In fact, I'm not going to get this gear out. But you have, there's the cleaver there and the knife at the top there. Can you see those? There's the corkscrew. There's the other hand. What else have we got here? We've got the surgical bone saw, double-headed axe, and there's the big bloody meat cleaver. What's it called again? A machete. That's the one. I'm gonna get that out. I'm gonna get the machete out, and it's heavily blood-stained. That's seen a fair bit of action. Let's just lodge it in the head. Let's just have a little look, see if we can fit it in there. Because apparently you can't. On the back there's an image, on the back of the box. Look at that. Oh, hang on. You may have to use a bit of blue tack, folks, but there it is. Oh, Corey Feldman. Is it Corey Feldman who puts it in there, or is it the girl? Can't remember. Hack, shoot, thunk. And he slides down it like that. Let's put it in his hand. Let's give him some kind of weaponry. Because the one thing about Jason, he's never far from some kind of edged weapon, is he? So there he is with his ghastly face. Yeah. But let's mask him up for duty. Ooh. Come on now. There you go. Ooh. So I mean, that coming after you, you can run, but he, as I say, he, unlike Michael Myers, who doesn't ever speed up after anybody, he just arrives out of the shadows, pure movie man style. But Jason will just lumber after him, but he will walk pretty fast. He's no slouch in pursuit. He will come barreling down. Jason takes Manhattan. He's on the train. He's just ploughing down the compartments. And he certainly is a poster boy for slaughter, isn't he? The films are not great. They're not. They're just not. But they have their legion of fans, and I love the character and I love the image that he strikes. But you won't catch me having a Friday the 13th, horror marathon session. Just no. I'd rather lick behind my own toenails, to be honest. Which would be equally as horrific, I'm sure. Wow, woomph. It's great, isn't it? You've got to love these figures, though. Neca really do a bang-up job of these. As I say, the sculpt is great. The articulation, once you've warmed them up a little bit, and the joints aren't quite so, rigor mortis hasn't set in. You loosen up a little bit. But the detail, footwear, lace holes, the eyelets, the blood stains on the trousers and on the shirt. Actually, is the blood stain? Yes, there is. You probably can't see much of the finer details. The stitching on the shirt, everything's there. It is really good, and the detail on the mask itself, and the straps as well. And you've got the extra little, whatever you call it, because on the first mask I don't think you had those. The extra ones here. It's only after this, or from this movie onwards, that he had those extra ones. I think there'll be Jason Vorhees mask masterminds out there who know every single character that played Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and all the different sculptors of the mask and the different images and how it was lit in part 7, that kind of stuff. Look, come back here. No, come back here again then. Stop running around in circles. But yeah. So folks, there you go. That's a little unboxing of Friday the 13th, the final chapter, Jason Voorhees, one of the ultimate figures. I think it might say on this who sculpted it. I think they always do, don't they? Let's have a little look. It might be here somewhere. Director, Randy Falk. Sculpt by Kyle Windricks and David Silver. Fabrication by Anthony Minicino. Paint by John Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp. Photography for the box, of course, by Stephen Mazurak, and package design by Chris Ramo. So, there you go. Those guys have got some credit where it's due. Harry Manfredini for our backing vocals. Because these guys, they can't hold a tune. But there you go. There he is. And you've got your choice of heads, as I say. And I do love that. So I might actually change that round so it's that head, but keep the mask on, because that's the image, isn't it? That coming at you, that's what you expect from Jason. Any fans of Jason X amongst you? Evil gets an upgrade. I actually quite like that one, Well, I remember liking it when it first came out, and I think I have watched it only in the last sort of 12 months or so, and I really didn't like it, and I was kind of surprised that I was initially so smitten with it. But I think I just liked the idea, and I love the new mask fused to him. He is a cybernetic, serial killing organism. I love the concept, but anyway. I think I'm kind of lonely in that assumption though, because I know it didn't do very well and wasn't very popular with the fans, but there you go. There he is. So, folks, there you go. That's a little brief exploration of Jason in plastic miniature. So, folks, I have been and always shall be kilted for your entertainment. Please, be happy, be healthy, keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. Just be yourselves. And me and the boys are going to see you all. Friday the 13th. It's always been quite lucky for me, to be honest.